Hi, everybody. Good evening. It's May 22, Sunday, and it's our Sidelines Unite team call. I'm just so grateful to see all of you. This is my favorite time to be together with our Arbonne family and just learn and grow together. And we have a special guest tonight. I can't wait to talk to her, have her talk to you because she's amazing. But first, I just wanted to kind of highlight the reason that we do these calls, and it's a Sidelines Unite. And the reason is just to share the Arbonne culture, and that's really what this is about. It's so different than in the corporate world or in the employee world where there's so much competition. In Arbonne, we really do unite with Sidelines, and everyone is welcome. We all support each other. There isn't that competition. And I always like the analogy of a sequoia tree, the redwoods, they're the tallest tree on earth, they live the longest, and yet they have the shallowest root system. And the reason they can grow so tall is because their roots intertwine together, and that's where their strength is. And so my vision for this call is that we will intertwine our roots together and grow our teams tall and strong. We're the next wave of NVPs. And so these trainings are just to grow our teams together so that we can all go to the top together. And it's just so fun to cheer each other on and see promotions. And it's just, there's more people to love, right? More people in your family. That's just more love all around. So I'm so excited to introduce new RVP, Wendy Carr. We were excited to be able to go to her Carr presentation last November. And Wendy is in, her NVP is Micheline Kirschbaum, and it goes on up. Her main NVP upline is Linda Parker, who we all love and adore. And so it's just so fun, again, to be connected and to hear how other people are doing the same thing as us. And there is really no magic. It's just all about mindset. And that's something that I think is so just honorable and something to really acknowledge about Wendy, because she has such a strong mindset. And Wendy, I believe with all my heart that you would be successful at anything that you do. And I'm just so glad, and I'm sure everyone in your success line and upline is glad that you chose to do Arbonne, because you have truly excelled and made a huge difference. So I just wanted to first talk about your experience with Sidelines, because it's kind of an interesting correlation for me. Sidelines raised me at the beginning of my business, and I so appreciate, and I will always lock arms with Sidelines and teach my team that the doors are open. But I'd love to hear how Sidelines have been so significant in your journey too.
Well, thank you, Tammy. You are so sweet. Well, let's see. That's all we have really here. I mean, I have my upline, and they're amazing. Micheline and Rebecca, they're always there for us. Molly, but they are in California, and we're in Michigan. So when I started, honestly, I didn't know any different. I mean, I never saw anybody at a Carr presentation. I never saw a white car. I just knew that my upline was in California. And fortunately, on my first trip to GTC, I sat right next to Lauren White, who is from, I don't know if it's Troy. And it was amazing. I had her for 4 hours, and we just talked and talked. And that was my first connection. So we started going to her meetings. And I think it was Troy, right? Troy, okay. And then one of the, I think we went to Carol Bodell's meeting one time, right? Carol, I believe. In Novi. Yay, it was awesome. And that was even a bigger meeting. I'm like, wow, Arbonne's kind of big, because we hadn't been to any other meeting. We didn't even have Zoom for our nation meeting. So that's all I knew was Lauren White. She was a new RVP. And then we went to Carol's, and we're like, whoa. So that's all we had. And that is really what the fuel for us. We do our team calls, which are amazing, but it's really nice. We have to connect somewhere. So, and then I think I met, Karen Premier at the airport on our first trip. So I've had that connection with them, and that's been really special. And then somebody told me, well, you should act like a national vice president and start your own meetings. And I don't even know if it was Karen. might have been. So as an area manager, I started my own meetings. So this has been nice to be able to connect with you and to see all of you come to the Carr presentation. And so that's been really special and necessary for us, is to have somebody here. And it's amazing to me, like you had said, that there's really no other companies like that. Like, you just open your arms, and Carol and Karen is just like, oh yes, let me help. This is amazing. Like, there's no competition. And I think that's beautiful. And we needed that. So that's been my connection with the Sidelines, and it's been great. I really appreciate all of you just letting us take part.
I love it, Wendy. So you're saying you don't need an upline right next door. You can still build an amazing business.
You know, I love my upline, but I didn't have anything here. So no, you don't. You just need Sidelines, right?
That's right.
And a downline.
And a committed, decided heart, right?
Right.
So thank you so much. Yes, leaders just figure out a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we'd love to hear a little bit about your background and how were you introduced to Arbonne? What did you do before Arbonne? What was, maybe the nudge in your heart that was telling you that you needed to do something different?
Right. Well, that didn't happen at first. So it's been just over 2 years now I've been with Arbonne. My background is interior design, 25 years. I absolutely love it. I have my own business and just love it. So it's kind of odd that I'm sitting here. But it started with me noticing some wrinkles. And coincidentally, my friend, Kristen Schick, said, hey, I have this gold bag. Try this. And I'm like, okay. So I tried it and instantly fell in love. And I thought, I've got to be a wholesale buyer. And she asked me to do the business. And I quickly declined and thought, there's no way, because, I'm kind of fancy. I have a career that I love, and I would never do that, right? I'm sure we've heard that before from people. And I really wasn't interested at all. And for a while, I was like, I wonder why I'm interested. What is it, And so I was just using the product and sharing, because that's what we do. And so I got a paycheck, and I called Kristen. I'm like, well, tell me about this. And still not really like, my husband and I both do fine with, our careers. He works for Toyota, and we do fine. So it wasn't like the paycheck, but something intrigued me. And so then I think she invited me to GTC. She said, hey, just come hang out. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to pay. I'm sure she was thinking, okay, we'll just get her there with Rebecca. And so when I left there, I was thinking, I just, from then, like, I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about Arbonne. And I guess it came to the point where it wasn't too long ago where I realized, I kept thinking, why would I do this? I really don't want to do this. And I seriously thought, I'm too old. All of these people are young, and it just wasn't a fit. But something was like making my heart race and making me stay awake. But when I discovered what it was, I felt like it wasn't what a lot of people, what turned their heads. But what I realized was, I'm the kind of person who I just, go after goals, and I set my heart on something, and like, I never give up on myself. And so for my whole life, I've had people close to me say, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Isn't it enough? And, you must have something missing. And I always thought, no, I don't. This is just me. And what I realized was, with this group of women, is I feel like I found this tribe of women. It makes me cry. Probably will. So I found all these people who weren't saying, hey, isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? They were like putting their hands under my butt and saying, let me help you. And so then you go on these trips, and you're just like with all these amazing people who are also getting up early and going after their goals, and they're happy for you. And that's what it was for me, was people saying, you know what, you're okay just how you are. And I'm the same way. And I don't know, it's crazy, but that's what makes me see that Arbonne is for me. And I was at Linda Parker, and I was talking to Molly Guile, and I said, I think I figured it out. And I was there with an area manager, Renee Merrill, who I love. And I said, I figured it out, but I can't tell anyone. You know, it seems silly. It's these women just, you know, raising you up and praising you and telling you that you're okay. And she said, Wendy, not only should you tell people, you have to, because there's a lot of women just like you who are out there just silently waiting for somebody to say, like, you know, I'm proud of you. Or so it was a big deal to finally discover, like, why am I doing this? You know, didn't make any sense. So now I see that, like, I'm in it for life. Absolutely love it. I'm so glad I did it. And I'll never look back, never quit. So that's my story.
Oh, I love it, Wendy. Clearly, clearly you have the heart for, yes, you're going to be an MVP. That's all I'm thinking.
I am.
It is written. So thank you so much for sharing that. So we are so curious and intrigued because you were asked to be recognized on stage at GTC, which is one of the highest honors, and talk about recognition. Wow. We would love to know, you know, why you were asked to be upstage, what you had to do, what your recognition was, and yes, what does it take? What does it take to be on stage at GTC?
Well, it's crazy, right? It's funny. So I was recognized for DM Elevation, which is part of the Parade of Champions, and it was so surreal. So first I get an email, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, what is this? You know, you'll be recognized on stage, and I kept reading it and rereading it, and I'm like, I wonder what this is. So I called my RVP, and I'm like, I sent it to her. I'm like, is this real? Is this something? Like, is this really something? She's like, oh my gosh, I think it is. I don't know what it is, but I think it is. And so I kept actually emailing and calling the person on the letter because I'm like, I don't know what this is. And so I will say I'm kind of persistent. So after like the 5th time and a couple of emails, the girl called me back and I said, I'm so sorry to bother you. I just wondered what this is. And she goes on to tell me that I was being recognized for one of the top 5 in the United States for promoting the most district managers. And I'm like, wait a minute. So, like, she said, I can't tell you what number you are. I'm thinking, who cares? And I said, so, like, in the whole United States? And she said, yes. I said, so, like, you're talking like Cecilia Stoll would be in this category, or like Debbie Neal or Linda Parker? She's like, well, they would qualify. I said, so, okay. She said, but it's not just promoting the most district managers. It's promoting the most first-time district managers that were still in your business. And I said, honestly, I feel like you made a mistake. And she just started laughing. She's like, no, I didn't make a mistake. I said, so this is a big deal? And she's like, it's a big deal. It's a Parade of Champions. And then I started to cry, and I'm like, all right, so that's the definition of what this is. And honestly, I'm thinking, I don't care if I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, now I lost my place. It was exciting. And so I feel like, Tammy, what you're asking me is, I don't know. I had to actually call my upline to say, do you see something that's different? Because I don't have anything to compare it to. But there are some things that I do every day. Like, I feel like there's 4 key points.
Okay, thank you. I can't wait to hear your key points, but
okay.
We've got to back the card up a little bit.
Okay, sure.
So how many district managers did you promote personally in 2015? And in January of 2015, what level were you at?
Okay, so first off, I don't know how many I promoted total. I was trying to look back to see how many were still there, because I guess, surprise, people quit. I hope everybody on here knew that. But so they had to still be in my business in January. And I think it was like 13 that were still there. And there were several that weren't there anymore. So they never really told us. I know the range was somewhere between. So I ended up at number 4. And I think the top one might have had 23. I'm not completely sure. So maybe I'm thinking I had 13 that were still there, 12 or 13.
Wendy, that is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Incredible. This is incredible. And can you tell us, I know you said you heard Chris Weiler give some advice.
Well, so I was listening to a call way back when, and I wasn't even sure who he was. And I remember hearing him say, my goal is to promote 1 DM a month. And I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea. That's my goal. So I wrote it down. I'm like, 1 a month. And it's funny how it works, because when I look back, I wasn't keeping track. I didn't know there was such an award as that. And I'm like, that's almost 1 a month. So I guess I just took his goal. And, I really like the calls that are available to us and people who've already gone before us. So, like, we don't create anything. We just watch what somebody else did, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good idea.
I think there is a difference, though, because I think there's a lot of people who listen to the calls, and yet they negate, they say, before they let the call into their heart and into their business, they say that, oh, I won't be able to do that, or I'm not good enough, or you know what I mean? It's like you stop the information before it actually gets into your heart and in your business. Whereas you, Wendy, have like embraced it and implemented it and worked your business, and you've been so coachable. And so there is a difference. I know there's so much information available, but it is up to us to then implement it and put it into action.
Right. Right.
So I just wanted to give you another shout out.
Thank you.
So yes, and we'd love to hear your 4 tips what did you say?
You asked me to do this. I was thinking, okay, what do I do differently? And that's where I had to reach out to Rebecca, because I know how I feel and what I do, but I don't know what makes me special. And so I reached out to her and I'm like, Rebecca, so can you just tell me, how am I different? Because I didn't have anybody here, to like watch. And she said, oh my gosh, Wendy, you're super coachable. And what was the other thing she said? You do something with your business every single day, and you're not afraid of anyone. So I started thinking, okay, what makes me different? And so I wrote down, what is it that Tammy wants to know? How did I achieve that? And I guess the first thing is, my first point is, I've done this my whole life, and I don't know why or where it comes from. I guess it comes from within, but the first thing I do is I will find an expert in that field. So, for example, anytime I wanted to do something I've never done before, so I wanted to do a triathlon, and I figured out quickly that I didn't know how to swim. I wanted to and I signed up for it. I'm like, yes, we'll go to Wisconsin. I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how to swim. I thought I did. So when I wanted to do a triathlon, when I wanted to do a bodybuilding show, I'd never lifted weights. So immediately my philosophy is, it seems so simple. I know, find somebody who did it and did it really well and just go ask them. Like, literally, that's what I think. So like with the triathlon, there's this crazy athlete, he's awesome, that was a coach for my kids for running. And I just called him. I'm like, Mike, you did a triathlon, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, will you tell me what to do? He's like, okay. So he started coaching me and telling me what to do. And so my husband pointed out to me, he's like, but the difference with you is you did every single thing he said. And I did. Like, I never viewed it as a la carte. And I did the same thing. Well, like, we wanted to do a marathon. My husband and I'm like, well, I think I'll do that. I had never thought about long ago that I'd smoked for 15 years, or I'm just like, well, that sounds like a good idea. And we got a book. And he said to me, I never knew this until recently, he said, Wendy, like, you took the book and you highlighted all this stuff and you like made the plan for the next day and you did every single thing. And he said, I remember thinking, wow, that's great. I'll do some of these things, but I don't know why it's not an option for me. So I just find someone and I ask them what they did and do it. And when it came to Arbonne, it was the same kind of thing. So you find somebody who's done it. Like, oh, who got that car? Like, it's really that simple. And of course, that was my upline. So I asked her to coach me, right? We talked every single week, and she would give me something, and it was part of the system. She didn't think it up, and I would do it. And I think the next 2 steps to that are really critical. So she would give me the information, and I would implement it, and then I would get back with her. And I would say, please give me feedback. This is what I did. And then she would give me something else. And so when she said to me, oh, you're coachable, I'm like, well, I'm not sure, like, what does that mean? Well, what it means is you get back with them. We don't have bosses in Arbonne, right? We just, I mean, we can ask for help, but we don't call people and say, did you do this? Did you do this? So that's how I related it to Arbonne. You know, we have our system, and so, boy, I'm lost. Was that my first point still, I guess?
Yeah.
All right, so point number 2, I'm kind of lost.
Well, I know too, you had mentioned, you know, again, just looking to the experts, and an expert can come from a personal coach, or it can come also from personal development books or sound.
Right. Yes. So you're right. That's the part I left off. So when I relate it to Arbonne, we've got our upline, right? And my upline's in California, and they're amazing. And then we have Sidelines, and which are you and Carol and Karen, and, you know, so we have our Sidelines, and these are different places where we can get information. And then we have trainers. So for me, I love me some Debbie Neal. So I will get on SoundCloud. Like, I regularly listen to this stuff. I mean, she sets me on fire. So we have that option. And then we have books. So my upline said, here's the books you should read. So I just follow those things. So we have all of these things in Arbonne, you know, that we can draw from.
Yes, love it.
Yeah. So my second point is coachable. And that's where I got kind of sidetracked, but I wanted to explain what coachable meant. And that is, you know, getting the information and applying it, implementing it, and then getting back with the person, right? So let's see here. Yeah, I think that the key point is really getting the feedback to them. You know, if somebody were to give us information and we just go and do it, I think there's really no coaching going on if we don't get back with them. And so I wanted to say this too. So when we ask somebody in Arbonne to coach us, if they've already done it, you know, they've proven that they've done it well, I think it's so important to look at the fact that we have this system, and every part of the system is put there on purpose, like the words that we use and the order. And I believe that we have to have a lot of trust and just let go and have faith in that person. And again, like, not look at it like a la carte. And, you know, I never did. I just followed, like, oh, she said to do this. And I mean, it works. You know, it's not like we don't have to think anything up. So, you know, it's just like, you know, this system I was thinking about, like, if you're baking a cake and you're looking at the box and it gives you instruction on how long to bake it for and what to put in it. The box doesn't give you all the reasons why they came up with that temperature or why they did it in this order, right? So we just follow, and it's really that simple to do it just like that. Like, if she tells me to say something, I remember reaching out in the beginning and saying, oh my gosh, I met this person and I want to talk to them. What should I do? And she would say, and I met with an area manager today and showed her my notes. She's like, call her and say this, you know, it was a coffee appointment. We have this amazing system. And, you know, if I could say anything, like, just trust the person that gave it to you. Like, they have your best interest in mind always. Like, if we pull pieces of it out, it's just, you know, it doesn't work. If we took the eggs out of the cake mix or whatever, or the, you know, all the liquids out, like, it's not going to work. So I love that with Arbonne. You know, they're telling us what to do, and we just have to follow. And I see the people on my team who are doing that. Like, they're calling me up. I'm getting boxers from them every day. So what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I love that, because that tells me that they want this and that they trust me. And so I'm going to spend more time with them, right? You know?
Love it.
Yeah. And then working, I guess step number 3 is working my personal business. And so there's my own district, my own business every day. And there's 2 parts to that. So there's personal development, and then there's income producing activities. And I think they're equally as important. And it seems to me, just like working with some people, new people, and coaching people, that the personal development part, I think a lot of people leave that off. Not all of it, but so I do some things every day and some of them seem silly, but from the time I open my eyes, I wouldn't do this in front of anybody, even my husband, but when I was told, like, write out your story of what your life is going to look like. And I've been doing that morning and night, reading it in the mirror for like since the beginning, and looking in the mirror and saying, oh my gosh, I'm a national vice president, and just telling my story to myself with passion and enthusiasm. And I teach my team that. And I really believe that, our mind, our brain doesn't know the difference between reality and make-believe. And I believe we make things happen that way. So I start my day that way, looking in the mirror and my affirmations, and I go right to my chair after I get my coffee. And, I do my reading, the books that were recommended to me. I visualize. Every day I probably listen to a SoundCloud. I have a subscription to Learn and Burn. I'm a Learn and Burnaholic, I heard somebody say. So these things just are important every single day. And for the income producing activities every day, there's sampling, there's events, there's one-on-ones. I follow up with every single person that, if I was at an event, to call them up and say, oh my gosh, I was thinking about you, whatever it is special about them. Calling people on their rewards. And I do want to say too that it's not that I'm just bored. I mean, I have a full-time plus career, and so I'm fitting this in the nooks and crannies, but I know it's important. And the little things, even being accountable. There's some people I'm accountable with. We will text each other and say, okay, these were my 5 income producing activities. All these things add up, to me, I feel like, to success when we're doing something a little bit every single day. So that's my third point, is working my own personal business. And I think one of the big things, Tammy, when you asked me about, how were you able to get this DM elevation? And honestly, I don't know. But, the fourth point is I stay with my district managers, my new district managers, a little bit longer. And there's a lot of reasons that I do that. Well, one, I was told to and trained by Linda Parker. The reason I do it is I'll go to their events. I'll stay with them for I'm going to look at my little notes here. I will go to 8 events. I've witnessed people who, the difference when people might go to one event, and I guess it started in the beginning when I had a new consultant, and I was very much connected to my RVP, and I was talking to her, and I said, oh, this person was, she did her first event, and she's ready to go do the next one by herself. And my RVP said, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, why? I didn't know. And she said, you know what, there's a lot that can happen. They can get discouraged. They might have a no-show. They might not be able to answer a question. They might not get sales. They're really nervous. And so I called this consultant and told her the conversation. She's like, oh, okay. Because when somebody's new, they're so nervous and they're focused on getting their script right or reading their note cards, or can I put an order in? And for me, the reason I'm there too is to bring some fun and some good energy. And this is good. You're doing amazing. You don't have to know everything. And my main reason is to look for business builders, because when you're nervous and you don't know about all these things, I don't believe that people are watching for that person who's leaning forward and asking a lot of questions and who said they hated their job. And so I'm there to, just bring a sense of fun and calm, and mostly to look for the business builder, because that's the reason why we have events, right? Is to find business builders. And I think too, we bring a sense of credibility, right? And, now I have a car. Well, I didn't have a car before. You've got this car out front and you're like, I'm here, I'm the regional vice president, whatever. And before I had the car, I was able to come in and say, I am an area manager, I'm making enough money to pay my mortgage. And so that brings credibility. And, even as a district manager, I'm here as a district manager. I'm a manager of a district. I'm making a car payment. We bring credibility at any level, but I'll tell you, it's a lot better when you have the car. But at first, you're just like, I'm going to get the car. I've not seen a car ever, but I'm going to get one. So it's a little bit easier when you do have the car. So I feel like that's a big one, is sticking with your people longer. And yes, it's more work, but if your new district manager gets discouraged, or they feel alone, or they think that they're the only one who had a no-show, you know what I mean, or had an event that was only sold so much, then they want to quit and they get discouraged. So I think it's worth it to stay with them. Maybe a month, maybe 2 months, I don't know, but it seems like it's paid off, so they don't feel alone and they stay excited, and to help them find a new business builder. So that's my 4 key points that I think help me to do that.
That was incredible. Thank you. So find the expert in the field. And I love that too, because so often when we're new, we're listening to the neighbor down the street who says, oh, isn't that a pyramid? And then you get discouraged. Whereas, is he an expert in network marketing? Then listen to him. If not,
right.
no.
Right.
You know, and I even encourage my team, don't listen to what I say, listen to what a 6-wide MVP says.
Right. Yeah.
So find the expert. I love that. And then be coachable, apply the info, trust the system like a recipe, working your personal business and you know, personal development and income producing activity in equal proportion. I love that. Write your story, read it to yourself, and just stay with your district managers a little longer. I love that. And oh my goodness, Wendy, these are awesome points. And no wonder you were on the stage.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know what else I have to offer as far as, I just know what I'm doing, but I appreciate it.
We were talking and you gave me a little phrase, and boy, it really just lit a fire in me today. So I'm so grateful for that conversation. And I just want to paint the picture here. So it's May 22. We have what? 8 days left in the month. We have AIT pending. We have people in qualifications, and maybe you're looking at your numbers and you're looking at your calendar and it's just not where you want to be. And I swear this is why we get our biggest portion of our business the last third of the month, is because this is what we're all doing. Like, ooh, I'm not where I want to be. I need to dig in a little bit. And so Wendy said this term today, and it is just fantastic and brilliant. And she said, you have to, do things that will fill the gaps. And so I'd love for you just to share some practical tips on how you fill the gaps and how we can really make the most of these last 8 days in the month.
Right. Okay. I was waiting to see, what did I say? What is she going to say? Well, I think there's a lot we can do. And the biggest thing, I think, is, pulling up our web stats and see what's going on below us. And I've been doing that for the last week. And so to look at everybody's numbers, on our team calls, they talked about, maybe it was a region call, I'm not sure, what those numbers look like where somebody's ready to promote. So, we were told that last month, and Carol can tell me, well, she's muted if this is right, but I believe last month was the biggest month ever in Arbonne. You can shake your head, Carol, if that was right. Okay. So, and then they projected that this month is going to be even bigger. Is that right? Carol's like, so that's a huge deal. And we know that the last week, we have more than a week left, right? And so the last week of the month is our biggest week anyway. So what I've been doing is reaching down and just, filling my team with belief and just pouring, my belief on them, because I know at a certain point, like I was told, okay, if you have a consultant that's at $600, they can go into DM Qual, like call them, help them, show them how to do it. So I would reach down to, say, area managers or district managers and say, this is what you have sitting under you. Or you have somebody at, like last week, you have a district manager that's at, a high side of 3,000 to 4,000. Get them into area qual. Like, I believe they can do it. Show them how. And so looking at everybody's numbers and pouring this belief into your team and showing them how to do it. Not just saying, you've got this sitting there or you have a client with rewards, but actually helping them and taking the time to say, for example, I talked to all of my wholesale buyers and everybody on the team and said, the people on the team, do you have at least 2 of the Genius Ultra? Because if you don't, you're missing it. And so, just talking to them and saying, you guys, this is going to change everything. With Linda Parker, like she said, it took her business up when they introduced RE9, 1,700%. And this is even bigger. Like, are you kidding me? Get those in your hands. We have the before and after pictures. I mean, I've already, like, not as much as some of the people on that call you sent, but like 25 Ultras. Like, how did you not? We have pictures. Like, look, we know who these people are. They used it once. Are you kidding? So just checking with your team to make sure, like, are they in the queue for the next one? Are they going to, be put into this holiday time? So, talking to the team about, does everybody have 2? And calling wholesale buyers and saying, you know what? I know you said you don't think you want to do Arvon, but I'm telling you, if you ever think you might, this is the time, get one of those on order. And people they're ordering them. So we've got the Ultra. We've got people whose numbers look like they're ready to go. So to take the time with, your DMs or AMs and getting on a 3-way call and telling them different ways they can do it. And even with the rewards. So not just calling the people on my team and saying, hey, there's rewards, but calling and maybe saying, oh my gosh, you realize that so-and-so has $40 or $50. They could totally get that Genius for, this amount, use the rewards. They're going to get more, like, and they're calling them. So we have a lot going on that we can use, as tools. But I think the biggest thing is, like, pouring yourself into your team, showing them that it's possible, telling them that you believe in them. Because we do learn as RVPs or NVPs, right? We know that when somebody's at a certain amount, they can go to that next level. They're closer than they think. And, we need to tell them. So that's how I'm filling the gap is, the gap is, this is a whole team. And it's not about filling my gap. It's about helping the rest of the team get to their goals. And that's the gap, for everybody.
I love it. That was brilliant, using the rewards to get your Genius, because our rewards are going to, just be a little harder to get those big rewards.
Different, right?
All of that. So this is the time to help people get the Ultra using the rewards. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my goodness. So one last thing I wanted you just to touch on, and that is, and Matt's sitting right there too. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Matt, your husband has just been one of your biggest supporters in Arbonne, and you guys have truly built this business together. And so I just love that he's on the call now too, because it just shows his support. And I just wanted you to talk about mindset, and because you have this steely resolve. Like, there is no budging. Once you've decided, you make it happen. And just talk about that, because there's so many people, it's so interesting, even in yoga and stuff, you'll be holding a pose for a long time, and they always say that the mind gives up before the body. If you can just get your mind right, everything else will follow. And I just would love for you to speak a little bit on mindset and just how you and Matt have actually talked about that.
Well, so I think you're talking about when we shared today about when you set your mind to something, and either you're that kind of person that says, oh, look, I'm getting this, or the kind of person that says, I don't know if I should try. Are you talking about that conversation?
Yes.
So Matt and I were on a run today, and it's interesting. We're like totally compatible and completely opposite. So he said to me, some things I just do automatically. Like, I can't imagine not finishing something that I said I would do. It's not in me. So when we were running today, he says, it just surprises me. Like, way back to when I worked at Oscar Rao years ago selling furniture. And he said, you came home and said, Ray Rao offered a trip to like somebody and a guest out of all 3 of his stores for highest sales. And he said, you came home and said, oh my gosh, like, we're going to go to Hawaii. And he's thinking, like, he worry about me, like, oh, she doesn't get this. There was no way I wouldn't. I don't know where that comes from. But he started to share with me that he's always just growing up. I don't know if he was told, or maybe he was told, like, maybe it's easier, like, don't go for things and you're not going to be disappointed. So you just don't. And listening to him talk, I thought, I think that's a lot of people. Like, maybe you just don't try because you might fail. And then, I think that's what you said, right?
Yeah. We were running, and I brought up that Hawaii trip, and I've always tried to figure out, why is it that sometimes when there's a big thing that I could win or go after, immediately I size up the odds. I want to see how many other people are trying for this. How difficult is it going to be? What am I going to need to do it? If the odds aren't very good, then I go back, I think, to what I was told a lot of times. I have great parents and a great relationship with them. They did an awesome job. But I heard a lot of times as I was growing up, well, if you don't get your hopes up, and just, then you won't be disappointed. And I don't know if that's what it was, but sometimes when these big contests come around, I will, like, not want to jump in completely. And Wendy does the exact opposite. She just announces that we're going to Hawaii in an instance, and I, like, oh my gosh, look, what kind of disappointment could we have? And so the same thing with all of these, the AIT comes around or whatever. I'm like, I don't know how much we had to go for AIT for, like, you got level 4 now, right?
Yeah.
So she got level 4, so it means both of us can go. But this last step, we needed another $25,000 before I would be free, and to go. And I said, I don't know, we need this much more. She's like, oh, it's a piece of cake, we're going. She just already knows. She already has the belief in her head. And so now I'm starting to not doubt it. She's proven it over and over. So now I pretty much just, I say, okay, that's good. And I start telling people at work, I guess we're going to Atlanta. I've learned now.
So Wendy, what would you say to someone on the call tonight, or someone on your team who is, 8,000 away from AIT, 2 promotions away, or they're, reaching for a promotion, they're in qualification for something, and it just feels like such a big stretch.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Well, maybe something like when you and I were talking, like, my mind is like, are you kidding me? Like, you have so many options. Like, why would you not? Like, if somebody said to me, I only need 2 promotions and I have 2 people who are $4,000 to $6,000 away, I'm like, that is so awesome. Wow, that's all they have left. Like, I really think that. Like, wow, you have 2 people that close? That's amazing. Lock arms with them. Show them how. Drag them, pull them. I don't know. But, like, that's nothing. So, I mean, that's how I feel. In the beginning, like, I literally, no matter what it is, like, I picture myself, like, this simple, like, if I get excited about something, I feel like that came from God, because, we don't just feel a certain way about, everything. So I literally go, oh, wow, that's cool. And I put my blinders on and I just go. Like, there's going to be people that, like, oh, this sucks, you shouldn't do this. What about your family? And I'm just like, their opinions aren't paying my bills or buying me time with my husband. So I really think that, like, I just go. And why would you not? I think if we're focusing on what if we don't, we're not going to. But what if we do? So if somebody was that close, Tammy, like 6,000, and they had 2 people, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So you're going to go on the trip. I believe that.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. By the way, even if it's just 10 minutes, you're going to be my new accountability partner.
Oh, good. Good.
I just love you. So I just want to open it up. Who has questions for Wendy or comments or, oh yes, Melinda. We knew Melinda would. I love it.
Wendy, thank you so much. You're amazing. And I went to your Carr presentation. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, thank you.
So what would you say to a person who has a full-time plus job, how to fit Arbonne into the nooks and crannies to get to the next level and beyond?
Okay, that's a good question. So I probably work closer to 60 hours a week at my regular job. I'm around people all the time. We're around people. And the more you share, the more you want to share. Like, you just tell everybody. Like, I feel in my heart, I know I've heard, well, it's not for everyone. I think it's for everyone. I think this business is for everyone. And I feel like I'm holding the golden ticket. So my UPS guy got samples, the guy at the post office. So he wants me to tell this one story.
Wendy had, I guess you call it outpatient surgery back a month and a half, 2 months ago, or something like
longer
that.
than that, something like that.
Yeah, so she's being wheeled away in a gurney, literally being wheeled away in a gurney. She had a hairnet on, and she said, Matt, get my card out of my purse and give it to this nurse
who's now a district manager.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, Wendy. So anyway,
why would you not tell everybody? Like, I am so excited about, once I figured out like why I'm doing this and just locking arms with people on the team and building these awesome relationships. And why would you not want that for everyone? There's a lot of people who are just silently suffering and wishing their life was different. And I've learned that, like, you don't know who that person is. We don't know. And like, why would you not tell? I probably didn't even answer you, Melinda.
You know what? The other thing is you cut out some of the extraneous activities like Facebook. You minimized it down to a certain amount.
Yeah, I guess there are some things too. So in response to Melinda, so I am doing this accountability with this amazing friend, area manager Renee Merrill, who's up on the screen, and we decided to do some things, and we made a list of, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to ask one person a day to join the business. We're going to focus on getting 8 responses a week. Neither one of us were like Facebook freaks at all. We're not going to get on Facebook until after 9 o'clock, and we're going to stop like at 30-minute cap. Well, now I just sometimes don't even get on. And for me, like, I'm not checking my numbers until I'm ready to go into my studio and like get busy. So we're doing that. We're doing just certain things like we have to just cut out. I don't make my bed anymore. There's just things that I just decided, like, and we, this, Tammy, had like a family meeting. Like, do we all want this when we went region? And so I started paying my daughter to like make my bed, make dinner. Like, we have to like drop some of the things that aren't that important for a while. And I'm okay with that now. I was such a freak before. Everything had to be in place. And you know what? Some things just aren't that important. And I'm going to give up some of the things temporarily so that I can, Melinda, so that I can take the time. It takes a lot of time. Like, our team right now is just going crazy. And now they're all like, well, can I get on a 3-way call or one-on-one? Will you come to my event? Yes, I will. And so it takes extra time, but it's so worth it. So worth it. Like, it does pay off. If we keep our head down and quit thinking about the people, who don't want this, and just focus on what we do want, like, you will get there. You follow the system, you will get there. Like, no question.
I love it. I love how you said there's no a la carte.
Yeah, why would we?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Go ahead, Lisa.
I have a comment. Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much. This is just awesome. I have to tell you that I met you from behind before. Yes, 2 years ago I went to GTC for my first time, and I left out of Flint. I was there, I was working while I was waiting, and I see this lady talking about ARBA, and I didn't think anybody was going to leave when I left. And then we had to get in line to get onto the plane, and this lady was talking to the girl that I so wanted to talk to, and it was you.
It was somebody who wasn't Arbonne?
It was all you. Yes, it was about Arbonne. It was a younger gal, And but I have to say, the energy that you guys feel from her talking right now, she emanates it. Like, I could feel it around you. So I didn't know where you were in your business. I didn't know anything because I didn't get to sit by you. So otherwise we would have been talking. So we would have been old friends. So thank you so much. I mean, you can really feel it from you. You carry it with you.
Thank you.
So, yes, and you're giving me the energy today. It's great.
Oh, good. So that should tell you to get to people quicker. I want to tell you this little story. A while back, I used to go to this one salon, and I got my eyelashes done, and I kept saying, "Oh, I should talk to them. I should talk to them." Finally, I'm like, I talked to them, and the girl said, "Oh my gosh, you know what? The owner just signed up yesterday with Kristen." I'm like, "Good. She's on my team." Like, oh.
Over you.
She's above me. Like, oh, great. That's awesome. So, I kind of don't wait anymore.
So basically, again, it comes back to mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Anybody else have questions or comments? Do you have anything to add, Carol?
I was just going to unmute. I just want to tell you thank you so much, Wendy. And I am so proud of you for earning Parade of Champions. Just to be in the top 20 in our big company today, that's such an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I loved how you said, because you think so much like I think, why wouldn't anyone want to do this? I just always have felt that way. Why wouldn't they? Just don't know they want to right now.
Yeah.
And it takes people a long time to figure out that they do. But even if they never figure it out, I always think this is so right for everybody.
Yeah.
And I just love that you feel that way, because that helps us. That helped me get out of my way, and build this when I was brand new. And I, like you, didn't have anybody in my area. And I think that really actually was to my benefit, because I had to walk the walk early on. I started my own meetings as a district manager every week. I had no clue what to do. So I think that really helps us to be a leader. So that's not a bad thing, you guys. If somebody it doesn't have somebody right there, guess what? Tell them to step it up.
Yeah.
Person.
Thank you, Carol.
Right then. And so thank you so much. And I loved hearing from Matt. Oh my God. I'm so sorry I couldn't be at your car presentation. We're down here in Florida, and I was at that time. I sure wouldn't have missed it.
I know. I know. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you're welcome to the nation meetings, and in Novi. The next one is June.
We're open to everyone, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And let us know if you're coming, because we'd love for you to, get you in there for a few minutes too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else have a question or comment for Wendy?
I have a quick question. Hi, Wendy. I'm Andrea Buzrar. I'm in Minneapolis.
Hi.
I'm sideline. I'm under Maxine King, and so sideline to Tammy and Carol and you gals. I'm just curious, when you do group presentations, what do you do? Do you do spa parties? Do you do facials? Do you do makeup? Do you do all of the above? Just curious what your team does.
Well, our team has a core script, and we do we bring the 2 ASVPs. The Healthy Living and the RE9, and we make it a point, like they say, to just walk in, with just whatever we can carry the first trip. And I was just talking to Tammy today, I was kind of thinking everybody does the same thing, but I guess we don't. But in our script, we talk about the business, we play the envelope game, we talk about our why. Maybe everybody does that. But we we tell people these are the 2 main sellers in Arbonne. So we tell them about a little bit about the 30 days and the skincare. And if somebody says, "Oh, I want to have a makeup event," we say, "Great." And we bring the makeup, totally do the RE9 and the nutrition, and then we let them play in the makeup. Now, when I first started, I didn't realize I wasn't following my nation system. I really, because I do follow, but I actually wasn't. So I met Lauren White on the plane. She's an RVP, young girl, and she did spa events. And I was so fortunate, 4 hours next to her. She drew out circles. She taught me a lot, and I was so happy. And she did spa events. And so that's what we did, the foot spa and facials. And I remember Micheline Kirsebom one time saying, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, the spa party. But then I realized I wasn't really following, and that's not duplication for my team to get on Micheline Kirsebom's Nation page. And I have to tell you, when I quit hauling those foot tubs and towels and washcloths, and it was fun, people loved them, but there were two things going on, and that was me not following the system. How could I send somebody to duplicate what I wasn't duplicating? And there's a lot less to carry in too. So that's what I'm doing, is the 30 days and the RE9 both. And I sell mostly RE9, but a lot of nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Great,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I love it. I love how you say, oh, you want makeup and margaritas? Sure, it's the same thing. Oh,
exactly.
You want yeah. Sure, it's the same thing. Oh, you want healthy living? Great, it's the same thing. You just name it whatever.
I'm supposed to be doing that, so that's what we do.
Oh, go ahead. Lisa, you're muted.
I thought you could hear me. So do you use the RE9, or do you do like the Donna Johnson core? I mean, is that something that you would share a little bit about, of how, what is that core presentation?
So I think this is what So I think this is what you're asking. So in my presentation, I talk about, this is their premium skincare line. It lasts you 5 to 6 months. It's amazing. And I just tell them about what happened with me. And as I describe each one, I used to do the face, but I'll talk about the cleanser, and I'll give one fact, one love. And then starting with the toner, I will have them do just put it on one hand and just sample things on one hand. When I get to the eye cream, I have them do one eye, and that's really powerful. Always, if it's a bunch of 20-some-year-olds, it's not as powerful. But so the rest, everything would go on the hand. Is that what you're asking me? Is how?
Yes. Yeah. Like how in depth and what kind of hands-on do you do? And then as far as the nutrition, you just talk, one fact and one love. I mean, you do the same kind of thing.
Well, I talk about I love the training last year, Impact. It was a doctor, I can't think of her name, and the way she described it, so we have this, I hate to say it's a detox or diet, but we have this group of products that work synergistically together. And what we're doing is we're eliminating 8 ingredients to get your body from this acidic state to a more alkaline state. Mm-hmm. And so I describe to them, each thing has its job. And I tell them, it's like if our car was on empty and we were to go to the gas station, we know we're on empty, and we fill it up with water. And we're like, dang, this isn't running right. So I just explain to them how each piece of it does something different. Our protein, this is what's in it. And then we get to the fiber. This is like a physical scrub brush that works in your body. The 7-day cleanse, it helps you move the toxins through. So I describe each thing and explain to them how they all have their own job. If somebody says, oh, I want just the cleanse, I'll say to them, if each thing does something different. Is that what you're asking me, is how we present it? Mm-hmm. I used to sample a lot of the stuff, and I will if they ask, like the fizz sticks. I don't do like a smoothie bar unless somebody wants like a nutrition healthy lunch or something. I will sometimes mix up and show them how yummy the vanilla protein is just with water, and I'll let them sample. Don't usually do the chocolate because it's not as powerful to do that with water. So I'll sample like the fizzies with really cold water, and I'll do some vanilla. But other than that, it would have to be a complete, I want this nutrition sampling for me to like make a smoothie.
Real quick, how long is your presentation? I mean, you're simple, easy. Are you in and out? I mean, what is your...
So when I get there, I make it a point to like come in with one load, make it look super easy, like set up, tear down in less than 5 minutes. And we do the sea salt, scrub at the sink. Mm-hmm. The presentation isn't that long. Like I found when I quit hauling those tubs and washcloths and sampling all the stuff and washing your face, Like they really are more intrigued by like our story, the benefits, you know, this is what I felt, this is what I noticed, you know, I have less wrinkles here. Look at this lady's neck that's, you know, one of my clients used the neck cream. So for me personally, I don't know if everybody would feel this way, but it's just as powerful when they can feel my belief and my energy and my sincerity by talking about these things rather than having them use them all. The eye cream is powerful. The primer on the back of one hand is powerful. So thankful for these pictures of like all these people who use the Genius Ultra. So I feel like the stories are what's selling, and I don't know if anybody has more input on that, but it's not, they're not taking, how long would you say? Hour?
I think that you spend more time probably talking afterwards.
Yeah, more time talking afterwards and connecting with people and talking about the business, you know, and I'll tell them, you know, these products are amazing, but this business opportunity can change your life. So I'm getting braver with that. I don't know that I did that so much in the beginning, which wasted a lot of time probably, you know, not jumping on that sooner. So.
Great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I love it, Wendy.
Wendy, quick question. On the invitation part of this core presentation, do you have them call or are you making red stamp invitations? And if you're making red stamp, what do they look like or what are they called?
Okay. So on the invitations, we do a few things. Number one, like we book the event right there that night. They always get their invitation, whether it's emailed or red stamp, like that night. So I would send them a handwritten thank you note, like the night that they book, I'll send them a thank you. But the invitations, honestly, my regional vice president about a month ago, she's like, oh, do you have like a really cute invitation? And I'm like, I am so like, I have just like basic ones that I've used the whole time. I just changed the name. I am so not about reinventing the wheel. Recently, I did put red stamp on my phone, but I'm pretty much sending out the same one. And so I will send it to them and I tell them the best way to get people here is not Facebook, is to call people and invite them. And, you know, I do some things where I tell them, like one of the perks of having an event is I'm going to bring you a basket of goodies to play with 3 days before that you'll give back to me that night. And I always have certain things in there. I have the RE9, I have the 24H and the 5-in-1, I have a makeup primer. And so I will take them the basket of products and then I'll tell them, so when I bring you the basket of products, I want you to do two things. I want you to give me your guest list, and it's not the list of people who are coming, it's just people that you want there. And I want you to fill out your wish list. And if you do those two things, then you'll get a special gift at your event. And I tell them I'm going to check in with you like a couple days before, a day before for a head count. And I just try to really stay engaged and have them personally call, and I tell them to over-invite. And then you wait for that, oh, there's not that many people coming, I think I should cancel. And it's like, oh, no, this will be fun. We'll just pamper you. Like, I never want that event to cancel, even if it's just them, you know. So the invitation, I think, is so, like, to me, it doesn't matter. Just get it to them, you know, just get something in front of them. And it's not even cute. It's just, I don't even know where I got it. That's what I told my upline. I'm like, yeah, it's not cute. It's just basic. And I just plug their name in, you know, because that takes time. You know, that's one of those things we decided, like, we're not going to do that, you know, because it doesn't matter. You know, you could fish around all day for really cute stuff and make this beautiful thing. And you could have made 5 phone calls. So does that answer, though, what you were saying? I get sidetracked a little bit.
It does. So what you're saying is once you book a party, within 24 hours, you're sending them the invite so that they can send it out after they make the phone call. And I find it interesting. So you have them give you the guest list, but you don't do anything with it. It's just...
No. So I ask them. They don't always want to give you somebody's phone number, but I ask, like, I try to do things to connect with this person so that they feel committed. You know, here's your invitation. Like, I send that the very night. I don't care if it's 1 in the morning. Like, I'll email them their invite, and that handwritten thank you note goes in the mail. So these are all things that just help these events stick. And if they'll give me phone numbers, I'll say, you know, I just want to check in with them and just see, do they have any allergies? just introduce myself and just see if, if I need to bring anything special. But people don't always want to give you the phone number. That's okay. But at least ask,
I love it.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're wonderful tips. Thank you, Wendy. Anybody else have any questions? We're going to close it out. Thank you so much. This is just fantastic.
Thank you, Tammy, also.
Of course.
What's that?
This has just been packed with juicy tips. Did everyone take great notes? This is amazing. I'm glad it's recorded. And I was looking for a quote, Wendy, because I'm a quote person, and I found one, and it just hit me that this is so you. So this is my little quote for you. It's from Lauren Wolfe in John Maxwell's book, from The Journey from Success to Significance. And it says, talk about purpose and people will listen. But to get them to follow, you must act with purpose. And that's you. You act with purpose. You set your mind, you make a commitment, you live with intention, and clearly you have the business that is the evidence of what's going on in your mind. Thank you so much for pouring into our team, and we just love you, and we are definitely going to ask you to come back and treat us. I'd love to hear more from you, and just appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Love you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.